Alright, so this is the 10 minutes speaking, and actually, I'm not gonna do the 30 minutes speaking for today. It's pretty late for now. Right, anyway, let's start it. Okay, let's do it, bro. So, what does fathers have for college graduate? Certainly, I do not want to apply for a job at Solar City, Tesla, SpaceX. And if not, then if it doesn't work for whatever reason, then apply to jobs at other companies in that arena or trying to starting a company. With the Chinese engineer, you figure out how to design new things. Then it's relatively easy to start a company. You need to get a few like many people with you. Or just do the space business is quite it's kind of hard to start a company in space business because it's such a capital intensive business. So it may later be to do something in solar power. If you're gonna do it in cars, do it in kind of permanent supplier or car something like that. Most are college degrees in business in physics, but SpaceX is first venture is aerospace. How do you get this expertise to be the chief technology officer of a rocket ship company? I do have a physics background. That's very helpful as a foundation. And then I read a lot of books and talked a lot. A lot of smart people. I just follow the trend. You may have heard me say it's good to think in terms of physics abroad to be first principles, which is rather than reasoning by analogy, but the things that are most fundamental truths you can imagine. You reason up from these, from there. It's a good way to figure out if something really makes sense, or if it's just that what everybody else is doing. And it's hard to think that way. You can't think that way about everything. There's a lot of effort. But you trying to do something is the best way to think. And that framework was developed by physicists to figure out quantitative things like quantum mechanics. So it's really a powerful method. And I want to know what is the one thing that has subscribed to you about your life? Well, I simply is bright about the world thing. Honestly, I think it's a better way to be all for any reason for these things to happen. Honestly, um, yeah, I just I know I wanted to be involved in technology, um, and in fact, the first reason why I started company back in that is right because the company was I didn't get in there wasn't a few companies and I couldn't get in job at any of them. Um, I actually get a job at Nescape and I sent my resume and tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was so shy to talk to anyone. And it was like, okay, well, I guess I have to start a company. Gotta get a job anywhere. I'm thinking, I would say I'm fearless. In fact, I think I feel quite strongly. But if the if what I'm doing isn't important enough, then it just override fear. So if it's not at all, I don't fear. I feel fear like more stronger than it would like. So that is the 5 seconds advertisement, and I'm gonna skip it. By the way, I think also people tend to overrate risk on a possibility level. Something you got to know: mortar to pay and kit to sports, and that if you're what divided from your job, that well, how are you going to feed your family and pay the rent? Well, that's understandable. But let's say you're young and you just coming out of college or coming out of high school or whatever. What do you do? What do you risk? You're not gonna staff. I mean, it's really easily now in any kind of modern economy. It's so easy to earn enough money just to live somewhere and eat food. I don't know what other people what they're afraid of. They're mostly afraid of furlough, I think. People should be less quick as first when there's not much at risk. What is education? Like basically downloading data and algorithm into your brain, and especially amazingly bad in conventional in conventional education is like to me like this huge. So by meaning the force of learning, the better. I was asked a sort of slight extensional process because I was trying to work out what does it all mean, like the purpose of things. And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of a world, if we can do things that span the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the correct questions and become more enlightened, and that's really the only way forward. Let's try you when you wake up in the morning to see the problem you want to solve. Um, During that one, I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that. So uh, we are going doing what we can do. And if you have the future be as good as possible, to be inspired by what is likely to happen, um, and to look forward to the next day. Um, so that was really drives me is trying to figure out how do we make stuff so that things are great, and really so, and that's the a large principle behind Tesla and SpaceX. Uh, is that I think it's pretty important that we accelerate the transition to sustainable generation and consumption of energy. It's inevitable, but it matters if it happens sooner or later. Then SpaceX is about having make life multi-planetary and doing what we can to continue the dream of Apollo and ultimately make the contribution to life becoming multi-planetary. Let's talk about a little more about that. I think everyone is very interested that when you say making life multi-planetary, yeah, that's exciting. It's exciting. That's why you're vision there. I think particularly for Americans, like if you think about as Americans, a nation of explorers, other people come here for the part of the world that choose to give up the known in favor of the unknown. Um, so I think exploration, like the United States, is a distillation of the human spirit of exploration, and that's why it appeals to Americans so much. You know, you can see this when there's a huge tragedy and 7 people died, and that's terrible. But a lot of people die all the time. But we care so much because we've got a dream of exploration that we're dying along with those people. That's why. That's why. That's why. I mean, I thought both Tesla and SpaceX would fail at the beginning. You thought? Yeah, sure. Really? Of course. Immediately put all your money in them. I expected to close it, and well, particularly that I thought I was. Well, I take half of money from PayPal, and if we lose half of it, that's okay. Um, but then, of course, the companies encounter difficulties, and then I have the choice of either let the company die or put all your money into the companies. And so I really don't want the companies to die, so I put all the money in the companies. Yeah, and then had to borrow money from friends to pay living expenses. Just looking for the evidence of exceptional ability. Um, Unless there's a track record of exceptional achievement, then like that will continue into the future. What really depends on the on stage is that a heart is really important. Then one should then you should overcome the fear and just do it anyway. Um, Essentially, I mean, I just try to override fear, but I feel fear, but I feel the fear kind of annoying. I wish I felt it less. All right. So this is the end of this 10 minutes speaking for today. And I'm not gonna do the 30 minutes speaking because actually I want to sleep early and get up and wake up early in the morning. So just skip it. Alright, so bye guys. Have a really nice day. Bye. See you later in the next day.